Hello preppers and homesteaders or preppersteaders. On this cold January day, I'm going to go over suppressors for the homestead and also for preppers, but mostly for homesteaders. The advantages of having one on the modern homestead. I'm going to go over the legality, the law changes, and why you should have one on your homestead, or at least consider getting one. Well, let's get into that right now. Legality. There's always a catch. There's always red tape. Let's get into that right now. What is a suppressor and why are they restricted? I'm going to read this definition. This is from the ATF, and I'm going to use suppressor or silencer. A lot of people, they will make fun of you, and if you say a silencer, they're like, no, it's a suppressor. The ATF, which is the one government agency that restricts these, they use silencer. You could use silencer or suppressor. Both is good with me. So and if somebody says it's a suppressor, not a silencer, just say, well, tell that to the ATF. Definition: it is any device for silencing, silencer, or muffling, or diminishing the report of a portable firearm, including any combination or parts designed or redesigned and intended for the use in assembling or fabricating a firearm silencer or firearm muffler, and any part intended for any use in such fabrication or assembly. I think I flipped that last part around, but kind of a long description, but anything. You put a soda bottle on the end of your gun, the ATF will consider that a suppressor. You put a potato on the end of the gun, the ATF considers that a suppressor. So keep that in mind. Anything that reduces the sound by just a little bit, it is considered a suppressor. And holy cow, it is 30 degrees out here, and it's a cold 30 degrees, a little chilly. Brief history. The NFA, National Firearms Act, was started in 1934 to deter poaching during the Great Depression. Probably other reasons. It was also short-barreled rifles, machine guns were also, so it was not just poaching, but I believe it was also because of the gangsters, but I'm not going to get into that deep history. But at that time, they implemented a one-time tax per item that was $200. That tax has not changed until 2025. It was $200 from 1934 till 2025. Inflation has changed that $200. Back then, $200 was an insane amount of money. Last year, it was an inconvenience. Now that tax is gone. That's why now is the time to consider getting a suppressor, because the next administration is going to bring the tax back, more than likely, and they'll adjust it for inflation. And then if you want a suppressor, it'll be $4,000 tax one time. Most people will just say they're class 3 items. They are considered a Title II firearm, not just an accessory. A firearm is a serialized item. Where are they allowed? As of right now, it is 42 states. Arkansas is one of them. Wisconsin was one of them. The states where they're not legal, I'm not going to go into all of them, but it's kind of the ones you guess. California, Illinois, the typical, those kind of states. You always want to check local laws. Now, this $200 tax that's been removed, the process is still pretty much the same though. You still have to get fingerprinted, submit a photo, fill out the paperwork, submit it, get approved, and then you can either pick up the suppressor you purchased, or they also have what is known as a Form 1, which is you can manufacture and create your own suppressor. And you cannot begin assembly of that Form 1 suppressor until you get an approved stamp. And it used to be you'd get a legitimate, almost like a postal stamp. It was a little bit bigger and it said $200 NFA. It was pretty cool. And then you can pick up your suppressor that you ordered from your dealer or start the manufacturing process of your Form 1 after that approval. Not any time before that. It used to be when I first got into NFA items, you would do all of that process and you would wait over a year to get approval. You'd go through all that red tape and pay $200, and a year or so you would get approved. Then they came out with e-forms, which is online, and it was a little bit more streamlined, and it took a couple months. My first e-form took a few months. Now they reduced the tax. They've done some improvements to their sites. People are getting approvals in like 24 hours. So it will vary though. I would say between 24 hours to a few months. This is not a speed thing. Don't expect it to happen quickly. If you get approved quickly, good for you and happy. But if not, don't be upset. You need to wait in general. I mean, you're gonna go through, you know, your fingerprints. Now you can go, certain gun shops have a silencer shop kiosk in their facility, and you can get your fingerprints right there, and they can get you a card, get you in the system. There's lots of things now to help streamline the process. So now is the time. But you can also submit as an individual, where it is under your name only, or you could submit it under a trust. And I have done both, and there is advantages to both. The trust though is good because you can put other people in the trust, but at the same time you have to do a lot of the same stuff for them, fingerprints, and you know, it's a process. But think of it as you are married to these items for life. So it's a try once, buy once type of thing. It's a process, but once you own them, some of these I've owned for over 10 years now. Keep that in mind. It's one of those things, you have them and they're yours. And I have never once been bothered by the ATF. I have never once, you know, had somebody come knocking at the, you know, it's one of those things. You're on a list, yes, with the ATF, but it's not the greatest list. I will also say, because of the zero tax that just happened January 1st, there may be a backlog now. Everybody, I think the first day there was 150,000 forms submitted. So, and there's people submitting just ridiculous amounts just because they can. There, like I said in another video, some guy was submitting, he was bragging about it on Reddit, that he submitted some with a design using potatoes and just stupid stuff and just clogging the system. So just like everything, you're gonna get idiots out there that just clog the system, kind of ruin everything for everybody and slow everything down. There will be some backlog right now, but you can still submit and then just wait as usual. And if it gets approved earlier, even better. Types of suppressors. So now we've gone into legality. Let's get into the types of suppressors. There's multiple design styles, but the basic, when you're gonna go shopping for one or designing one, if you're gonna do a Form 1, I would say there would be a rimfire suppressor, which is for, as stated, rimfire, 22 caliber in probably the most popular. You would have a pistol caliber suppressor, such as this one, which is made for a 9mm. And then you would have a centerfire rifle caliber suppressor. This one is made for 30 cal. And the way that they are designed now, you can buy them either machined, welded. They do machined and welded now, which is pretty neat because it's weight savings. And then nowadays, you can actually buy 3D printed suppressors. Mounting systems. When you're gonna shop for your suppressor or design one, you're gonna figure out how you're gonna mount it. This rifle here has a direct thread, so you need a barrel in general for all of these with some type of threading on the barrel. And this one is the typical standard half 28. This is a Ruger American with a stainless 22 suppressor. This 22 suppressor has a quick detach mount. This 9mm suppressor has a, they call it a tri-lug mount. Certain 9mm carbines have like a tri-lug system on it where this goes on and just twist it on. And then this one uses a quick detach mounting system for the 30 cal, which is, there's different companies that have them, but what it is you have a threaded barrel adapter. It's like a muzzle brake that mounts onto your rifle, and this fits on there and just twists on and locks on, and then you can just take it off. And those muzzle devices, you can buy the same device for multiple firearms, and you can swap this out quickly on different firearms. So that's something to keep in mind. In general, 22 caliber suppressors such as this, you can take them apart and you can clean them. There's little baffles inside. Think of little, they vary from K baffles to cones to, I'm not gonna get into the internals of them. There are lots of videos on that, lots of design styles, monocore, you know, K baffles, M baffles, cones, you know, radial cones, all sorts of stuff. But 22 in general, they do get a little dirty. You get lead buildup in them, and you can unscrew this, take them apart, clean them. 9mm, most pistol cans, Another way you could say suppressor in the industry or with people is cans, 9mm cans. They are field serviceable. You can take this apart and clean them. 30 cal and rifle cans in general, they are sealed units and they do not need to be cleaned. There's so much heat and gas going through them. If I shot a 30-round magazine through this, I could probably throw a piece of bacon on this and cook it. They get pretty hot. Sometimes I have a QD adapter that will fit this for 22s, and I will shoot 22s through a center fire rifle can, and because you can't clean it and take it apart, what I'll do is just put it back on a 308 or a 5.56 and fire a few rounds, just burn everything out. So that's one thing to consider. Also, there are new models of an older design of flow-through suppressors for center fire with some vents in the front, and the gases all get blown out the front. Because one of the negatives of rifle caliber cans is gas blowback. So I have all my AR-15 rifles have suppressors on them, but when I shoot, you get excessive gas blowback. So your rifle does get a little dirtier, and when you're shooting, you get blown back gas in the face. With these newer designs that they have the flow through, the can stays cooler and you don't get that blowback. So do lots of research. If you know somebody with suppressors, maybe try them out. Try before you buy, just to see what you want. And also, I'm going to go into the sound of them. It is not Hollywood quiet. Granted, 22 bolt action like this, since it's a closed action, if I do those CB cap or those quiet 22s that will not cycle in a regular semi-auto, since this is bolt action, it will sound like a staple gun. It is that quiet. It is Hollywood quiet. But in general, if you shoot regular 22 long rifle through most 22 suppressors, you will still hear the sonic crack of the 22 since it's breaking the sound barrier. So they do sell 22 subsonic that does not break the sound barrier. They also sell, 9mm subsonic. They sell pretty much everything subsonic. Take into account though, these will generally cycle in semi-autos. So this, such as Federal American Eagle suppressor, it does cycle in 22s, such as a pistol like this. Now, 9mm suppressors with subsonic ammo are pretty much muffled enough that in general you can get away without wearing ear protection for small amounts of time. Center fire rifles, 308, 5.56, it muffles the sound of AR-15 down to the sound of a 22 pistol, I would say. It's still loud, you still need hearing protection, but in general, it's really hard to tell where the sound is coming from. You still hear that sonic crack in the distance, but you can't tell where the sound originated from. I do have 30 cal 308 subsonic rounds that are pretty quiet with a 30 cal can and a bolt action. But in general, semi-autos, the action on the side, as it ejects, you're getting sound out of there too. So keep that in mind, what you're going to suppress and how quiet realistically your expectations should be. If you want the quietest, you're going to have a bolt action. On a semi-auto pistol such this, that has the bolt to the rear like this, you can shoot with your thumb over the back and make it much more quiet with the suppressor on there, and then manually reload each round. So that's something to consider. But in general, a 5.56 and a 308 or any bigger calibers, it's going to reduce the sound to a much lower level, but it is still there. What are the advantages for the Homesteader? The big one is being able to shoot 22 and lower velocity stuff without hearing protection, being able to shoot on your property, even though your neighbors aren't close, they still don't know you're shooting. I like to be the good neighbor. On my old homestead in Wisconsin, and even this place here, most of my neighbors probably think I'm not even a gun guy and never shoot, even though I shoot all the time. I shoot suppressed. Weird story. In Wisconsin, at our old homestead, I shot all the time, and one day I shot unsuppressed an AR pistol. I got the police called on me because one of my neighbors thought I was shooting at him just because the sound was so loud and it echoed in the area, and they heard the echo, and it was just a funny story. The waste of the police's time, but and the neighbors were from Illinois, Chicago of areas, but it was kind of funny. Out in this area, I hear people shooting around me all the time in the distance. They never hear me shooting and target shooting all the time, unless I'm shooting 5.56 or something bigger. But when I shoot 22, which I shoot all the time, neighbors don't know. They can't hear it. The other thing is, if you're going to do varmint hunting and dispatching of varmints on your property, you can do it quietly. You don't need hearing protection. You can hunt without hearing protection. There's just so many advantages of just being quiet on your property. It's kind of like an electric chainsaw. It's nice not having to wear earmuffs when working with a tool such as a firearm. The big one too is I lost a lot of hearing in the military, and now this is helping long term so I don't lose any more hearing. The sound levels are minimized to protect your hearing with 22 caliber, which I shoot probably the most. The other advantage of suppressors, think of a suppressor as the greatest muzzle device and crown. In most cases on bolt actions and most rifles and pistols, it increases your accuracy. It is one of the best muzzle brake devices, and it helps disrupt the gases coming out, and it just usually you get improved accuracy. So it's one of those things too, if you have the same rifle and you take your suppressor off and shoot it, you're gonna have a slight shift in your pattern. So usually your pattern will improve, but it's gonna be shifted because it changes the flow of gases out of the front of the firearm. Other advantages are defensive uses. Think of apocalyptic type scenarios. It would be helpful to have a quiet means of dispatching. Just think about special forces. They've used 22 pistols like this to dispatch guard dogs, shoot out street lights. I mean, there's lots of advantages to having a silent partner with you and on your list of preparedness items. So your advantages for the homesteader are having a quiet means of using a firearm, greater operational security with your neighbors not knowing your business when you're shooting, your habits, your training, if you like to train a lot. And there's also other advantages. Some hunters have found out in Alaska that animals such as bears are learning that when a hunter shoots an animal, it equals food. So there has been cases in Alaska where hunters, after they shoot, have been chased by bears because bears know to go to the gunfire. So with suppressors, the bear will just hear the sonic crack and they don't know the origination of the sound, and it helps the hunters out. So think of that tactically too. There's lots of advantages of that. Hopefully this was helpful. There's just plenty of good reasons for the homestead to have a suppressor, and hopefully this was helpful, just kind of going an overview of why I believe it's very helpful and why you should consider cutting through the red tape and going through the process now. Think about it. If you've purchased a firearm and done the NICS check, it is no different. The only difference here is fingerprints and a photo. So hopefully this was helpful, and I am really cold, so this is probably going to be a longer video, but I am looking over there and I can see the house and the wood stove smoke, and I'm like, I need to go in and warm up. But hopefully this was helpful, and until next time, thanks. Till next time, bye. Good camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt because it was a gift. I love it. I do. So thanks again. Bye.